Hey Sainers, welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. Welcome to Saints TV Weekly for August 12, 2024. Thanks to Inglewood Coffee Roasters for being the sponsor of Saints TV Weekly for this season. Check out their website, www.inglewoodcoffeeroasters.com.au, and use the discount code and get 40% off coffee, tea, and chai products. Now, straight into it. My review's already up, round 22, so check that out. But we ended up being a 48-point win, which is pretty solid. It wasn't the greatest game really to watch, but we did what we needed to do. It was pretty stable without being really at any point challenged. Royal Marshall just did what he needed to do, and 99 points we kicked. It would have been nice to kick the ton, but nonetheless, 48-point win. It was good to bounce back strongly after last week's debacle against Brisbane. So now we've got two big games coming up against the Cats on Saturday night, and then the Blues, which for them could be their most important game of the season. Full house at Marvel, Carlton home game. That'll be interesting on a Sunday, 3:20 in a couple of weeks' time. But not a bad game. No injuries to come from it. Winhager, we'll talk about injury updates in a little bit, but there might be a few players that could be a shout from Sandy as well. And obviously off the back of a couple of players returning from injury. Swinging to VFL now. And Sandy got the job done pretty comfortably by 33 points against Richmond, 10-11-71 to 15-14, 104. I mean, key standout in this game was Hugo Garcia, without a doubt. Absolutely tore them apart. If he doesn't get a game this weekend, he's very stiff because AFL fantasy points, 162, 3 goals straight, 34 disposals, 3 marks, 12 tackles, and 9 clearances, which was game high on his own. No one else matched him in that category. So Hugo Garcia, he's been good for the last month. He's been good every game he's played at Sandy, to be honest, but this was his best game of his career, VFL, AFL. Hopefully he gets a gig by the end of the season because I'd love to see him in there. If we can get Windy fit again, because I think he's not far off, I'd love to see just a centre bouncer. It's Marshall, Garcia, Philippo, and Windy. Just as a mix. I'd just love to see that just for once. One centre bouncer, Ross. Do that for me, please, mate. That's an early Christmas present. But Hugo Garcia was a key standout. Tom Campbell was huge. 28 disposals and 50 hit-outs. Riley Bonner, 29 disposals. Matty Allison, 26 disposals, 2 goals, 3, which was good. Isaac Keeler, 3 goals straight, 16 disposals. That's really, really good. Ollie Houghton, 24 disposals. Angus Hastings, 19. Max Hall, 17 and 3 behinds. Ari Shawmaker, 21. Jack Hayes, 16 disposals, 2 goals, 1 on his return, which is solid. So he might be a chance this week. Elwood Peckett, 2 behinds, 15 disposals. And Liam O'Connell, 11 disposals. Zane Cordy, 10. So not bad overall. Pretty even spread there. No one, apart from maybe Hugo Garcia, was the absolute standout, but a good performance nonetheless from Sandy. So that means there are a few players knocking on the door to come in this week against the Cats, which is exciting. Now we'll quickly cover over the biggest news of last week. Obviously, we all know Taran Thomas. That was quickly, put to bed, but we'll just cover it. The club did release a statement. Obviously, there was Tom Morris who mentioned that we had met with him, blah, blah, blah. We all know the news. I put out 2 videos on it. But obviously our CEO, Carl Delina, put out a statement which basically clarified the club's position on a club employee meeting with Taran Thomas, and they basically just said following some due diligence, they will not be pursuing Taran Thomas. So that's pretty much where that story ends, which is good. But I just had to obviously put it in because that was the biggest news of the week. So that could really have trickled into the rest of the season. So it was important the club, they got on the front foot. I don't think they got on the front foot as much as they could have, but they had to end it last week, and they did. So that's where that story dies pretty much. Injury updates, they haven't been updated from last week, but I can do it myself. Jack Hayes obviously played at Sandy, so he's a chance. Max Hall played at Sandy, he's a chance. Zane Cordy's a chance. Marcus Winhager was 1 week last week from a hamstring, so maybe a test this week, I would say. Seb Ross, probably 1 to 2 away. And then the rest are pretty much season. Brad Crouch, TBC, Liam Henry season, King and Van Ness obviously season. So we've got probably a plus Garcia, plus a couple of good players from Sandy knocking on the door. There's about probably 4 or 5 we could choose from this week, which is really exciting. And there's not many players you could say deserve to be omitted from the game yesterday. Even McLennan, I thought he actually did pretty good. He, had his head taped up and he performed pretty well after that point. So he'd be pretty stiff to miss, I would have thought. And Paddy Dow, 20 and a goal, so he's probably going to stay in as well. AFLW, the season is getting closer and closer. They had match simulation on the weekend against the Roos, and I think the Roos were the runner-up last season, correct me if I'm wrong. So they're a very good outfit. The girls, they did go down by 44 points, 3-7-25 to 10-9-69. It was a goalless first half, but then we ended up finding goals through Grace Kelly, Jessie Wardlaw, and Ella Friend. We built into the game. I don't think the scoreboard necessarily would be the priority at this point. Obviously, some fresh faces getting a run back at RSCA Park, which was great. And obviously, Jamie Lambert, Tiana Smith, and Georgia Patrikios, that midfield trio that we all want to see perform this season. They all turned up with some pretty impressive performances. So the season's not far away for the AFLW. So good to see them get a hit out under the sun at RSCA on the weekend. Swinging to the AFL fixture update. As I mentioned at the top, Carlton, 3:20 p.m. Sunday afternoon is the slot. That is the penultimate game of the 2024 AFL season. They obviously had the floating fixture. This will be an away game. Tickets will go on sale, I believe, this week, so I'll keep you guys posted on that. They're doing free general admission for children aged 14 and under. There might even be I think you might be able to go on the field at full time in this game. I'm not too sure. But it'll be 3:20 p.m. Marvel Stadium, broadcast on Channel 7, Fox Footy KO, Sunday the 25th of August. It's going to be a big crowd depending on results this weekend as well and what Carlton need to do. And it could be a game where we could really troll the competition. And by competition, I mean Carlton. So let's see what happens. It's good to just be in a couple of important games to end out, round out the season. Geelong, we could probably stuff up their top 4 chances if we beat them this week. And then obviously Carlton top 8. So 2 big games, 2 clubs that I love beating. So fingers crossed we can end the season on a high and get 2 wins there. And speaking of wins and losses, let's swing to tipping. Creatures of Habit is still outright top 127, leading Errol 126, Dicko 125, and Saint Temp Tech 124. So there's a tight race at the top there. I got 4 this week. They got round 22. Geez, the top 4 tipsters got 3. That's not great. That's not great on their form. A couple of people got 7. I don't know how they pulled off 7, but good on them. So we've got 2 weeks left to see who rounds out the tipping. It's very, very tight at the top, so keep a close eye on that and get your tips in. Don't forget, if you're near the top, these next 2 weeks are going to be massive. So on that note, Sainers, I'll wrap that up there. That's Saints TV Weekly. Obviously, I've got the review out on YouTube. Check that out. I've got 5 things we learned out. Check that out. And I had a chat with Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira in the rooms post-game. He's such a quiet lad, but he's so classy, and you just know that he has a high standards for himself, but also maintaining that ultimate level of professionalism and modesty, which is amazing to see at his age. So check that out when you can. And obviously the podcast tonight, Saints TV Live, match preview heading into the Geelong game. And obviously the Geelong game itself, make sure you get down. It's our last home game of the season. Let's pack it out and let's try and generate that energy that we got from last season when we beat the Cats, and it was just the best night ever. So on that note, Sainers, thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you during the week. Take care, and as always, go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.